When I first discovered romance novels, I fell in love. Forgive the cliche, but I dove right in, and I've never looked back. Then I find a new romance author to fall in love with. People call romance novels every name in the book, usually derogatory. Cheesy, cliche, stupid, bad writing, and the list goes on. But romance novels have a special place in my heart, and when you find a good author, you are blown away by the story. Each and every time. People may think that reading about characters falling in love gets old, but let me tell you, it just keeps getting better. Like a fine wine, as they say. But if you're not convinced, then I'll do the hard work for you. Depending on your style or preference, you can find something to love about romance novels. There are so many different stories, authors, tropes, and characters. There's such a range from hockey romance to cowboy romance to small-town romance. So, you're sure to find something that will keep you coming back for more. Take your pick from the list once you read the summaries. Click on the titles to buy the books on Amazon. Beach read by Emily Henry. Emily Henry is such a fan fave. If you love a bit of small-town romance or grumpy/sunshine love, this is the book for you. In this story, January is an author of romance novels. She loves the happy endings and that moment when everything is going to be alright. But Augustus loves to write dark. These two authors end up next door to one another on a vacation, stuck with writer's block. To get rid of it, they challenge each other to write the opposite of what they're used to. It could lead to a lot more than getting rid of their writer's block. The Hating Game by Sally Thorne. Sally Thorne is a star. This book became extra popular after the film came out last year. It follows the story of Lucy and Josh, colleagues and enemies. But things start heating up when a promotion comes up, and they're both in line for it. The Highwayman by KERRIGAN. KERRIGAN writes sweeping historical romances that take your breath away. He receives one moment of kindness from a young girl, and once he's set free, he can think of no one else. When they find one another again, he's been living a double life, and she's on the verge of getting married. Can love be reclaimed from the past? Damaged Goods by TALIA. TALIA is an award-winning author who creates unique, heartwarming, and often small-town romances. Laura is trying to escape her monster of a husband. She's now got a baby on the way, so it's her excuse to get the hell out. She runs to the one person she knows she can trust, Samir, her high school sweetheart. But a secret might just get in the way of getting Laura the love she deserves. Mr. Malcolm's List by SUZANNE. This book recently got made into a cute film. Mr. Malcolm is looking for a wife in Regency, England. But he's got a very strict list of requirements that he needs to fulfill. He rejects a woman when she doesn't meet his requirements. She finds a way to trick him into falling in love with someone else who's only pretending to fulfill his list. But maybe he doesn't need that list after all. Something in the Air by Suzanne Enoch. I love this clean Regency romance. A young woman needs to marry to keep her family house, and so she chooses her young, gangly friend, proposing to him. Secretly in love, he agrees, and years later, they find themselves in a marriage by name only. He finds out that she's also made up 2 fake children to keep the house as well. This tale is funny, romantic, and witty. By borrowing 2 orphan children to prove to others at a party, they decide they can fall in love. For real. Secretly Yours by Tessa Bailey. This book just came out in February 2023. It's a humdinger of a romance for those who love the grumpy/sunshine trope. Hallie has been in love with Julian since high school, and they almost kissed. But when they meet again, he doesn't remember her. She's landscaping his garden, and he's trying to place her. But they just keep getting closer and closer. Hallie is hoping to get that long-awaited kiss after all. The Heart Principle by Helen Huang. This is one of a 3-part series. It follows Anna, a violinist who's ready for a little rebellion. She's just gone through a big burnout and a boyfriend who wants an open relationship. But when she finds someone, the one-night stand thing doesn't seem to work. He cares about her more than she's willing to admit. The Fastest Way to Fall by Denise Williams. A young CEO of a lifestyle company and a writer find themselves in a unique relationship. Britta decides to get a trainer to see how the app works. Wes, the CEO, agrees to be the trainer, even though it's against the rules. Things turn out very unexpectedly for the both, and they don't exactly get what they'd originally wanted. You, Me, Us by Brigitte Bautista. Female best friends Liz and Joe have been friends for years, but they're opposites. But as things start to break open their world, they discover feelings beyond friendship. The Tenant by KATRINA Jackson. For those who love haunted romance, The Tenant is the perfect book. Noel inherits an old house, and he's pretty sure it's haunted by a female ghost named Ruby. She wants revenge or maybe something more. The Devil Comes Courting by COURTNEY. MILAN. This book is part of a series. Captain Hunter is part of the race to connect the world through telegraphy. He needs a bit of help, and when he finds out about a genius who knows how to cut costs, he tries to hire the man. Only, he finds out that the genius is a woman, Amelia Smith. Never Fall for Your Fiancee by Virginia Heath. This is the first of an adorable Regency-era series, which is still continuing. A young woman is in need of money to support her sisters, and the Lord needs a fake fiancé. If you love fake engagement tropes, you will love Heath's witty writing. A Curious Beginning by DEANNA RAYBOURN. This is romance mixed with a murder mystery. It's got whole great female detective thing, and it stars Veronica Speedwell, lepidopterist. Taking place in the late Victorian era, Veronica finds herself the victim of an attempted abduction. When a murder occurs, she and a handsome, brooding taxidermist have to find out the truth. Take the Lead by ALEXIS. DARIA. Who doesn't love a dance romance? Gina wants to move forward in her dancing career, winning on a dance show. She joins a celebrity dance competition. Her partner is both famous, handsome, and a surprisingly good dancer. Will they choose love or fame in the end? The Romantic Agenda by KERRIGAN. Joy has been longing for her friend Malcolm for years. But when he decides he's in love with another, someone offers to help Joy to get him back. But things turn out very differently than planned. In a good way. Best Laid Plans by ROAN. PARRISH. Another LGBTQ+ romance. Best Laid Plans is both heartrending and swoony. Charlie has been always taking care of things his whole life. But when tattooed Ryle comes into his hardware store, Charlie is intrigued. Things just heat up from there. Something Like Love by Beverly Jenkins. This is another romance part of a series, so you'll get one great book after another. In this tale, we've got another fake engagement that turns out a bit steamier than expected. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. Colleen Hoover is one of our faves. Lily and Ryle fall in love despite their obstacles, but things aren't as rose-colored as Lily hoped. Her first love comes back from the past and throws her off balance once more. Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This is a bit of an oldie but a goodie. It's definitely got a bit of a tragic romance vibe. Florentino and Fermina fall in love when they're kids, but Fermina marries another. But Florentino doesn't give up hope. He goes on to have 622 affairs, but never gives anyone his heart. 50 years later, when her husband dies, Florentino appears in her life once more. Vampire Academy by Richelle Mead. Vampire Academy is book 1 of a 6-part series. If supernatural romance is your thing, then this series is a great place to start. At a school for vampires, Rose is the bodyguard for Lissa, a vampire princess. They get involved in a forbidden romance that could get them in more trouble than they're prepared for. You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty by Akweek Emezi. This book is a bestseller and one most anticipated book of 2022 on all the lists. It was even a National Book Award finalist. Faye lost the love of her life in an accident years ago, but she's ready to move forward. She starts to move on, and she finds a new guy, but she can't seem to stop thinking about his father. This unique, passionate romance story will blow you away. Unwritten Rules by K.D. Casey. Both an LGBTQ+ and a sports romance, this book checks all the boxes. Zach, a professional baseball player, fell in love with his teammate Eugenio, but he didn't have the guts to come out, and Eugenio moved to a new team. Years later, they're back playing together, and Zach has to figure out if he's ready to make a big move. The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Hazelwood became a TikTok sensation, and her books are to die for. A scientist named Olive just wants her friend to get off her back about relationships. So, in order to prove she's been dating, she kisses a random man at work. He just turns out to be a jackass professor, and he agrees to play her fake boyfriend. But things don't remain so logical between them. 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. Two writers meet at a literary conference. But 15 years earlier, they fell in love one summer, and deep down, they both remember it. It's both funny and sexy as two people try to hide from the chemistry that's lasted all these years. Flawless by Elsie Silver. You can't go wrong with romance novels with cowboys. A bull rider makes a mistake and has to clean up his image. His agent puts his daughter on him to supervise. Whoever thought that was a good idea? Long Hard Ride by Lorelei James. Yeehaw for another cowboy romance novel. Channing has always had a wild streak. When she meets bull rider Colby, he has an idea that sets her flame going and doesn't stop. It Happened One Summer by Tessa Bailey. This small-town romance tells the story of Piper, LA socialite, who gets a little too close to the sun. When she arrives in a small town in Washington to run her dad's bar, she finds that maybe the quiet life is better. A Quiet Life, which includes a sexy sea captain, of course. Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. A runaway bride hurries away to Virginia to see her estranged twin. But she ends up with no job, no money, and a niece she never knew she had. Knox doesn't like drama, but he can't help but get involved when Naomi needs his help. Consider Me by Becca Mack. In this hockey romance, Carter is a cocky NHL player who loves to be the bad boy. But when he meets the heroine, he finds he has to humble himself if he's going to impress her. The things is, does she even want him? First Down by Grace Riley. Mix fake dating, sports, and college romance, and you've got yourself a combination worth reading. James is a football star, but he's having some trouble in writing class. He calls upon Bex, who's excelling in the class, to help him. She's getting some unwanted attention from an ex, and James might be just the ticket. Fake dating, here we come. Mile High by Liz Tomford. Evan, a hockey player, loves his life, crushing it on the ice and leaving with a new woman each time. Stevie, a flight attendant, is tired of dealing with his highbrow crap on their travels, but a few incidents bring them closer together. The attraction in this hockey romance is palpable. Bound by Honor by Cora Riley. Maybe dark mafia romance is your jam. Bound by Honor is the first of a long series. Aria was born into a mob family. When she's of age, they arrange a marriage for her to Luca, the son of the head of a New York mob family. Terrified but wanting to follow tradition, Aria goes through with it. She's determined to get into the frightening Luca's heart. Romance is for everyone, even for those who might doubt it. Take your pick and fall in love with the stories, the characters, and everything in between. I know you'll fall in love just like the rest of us.